This video is going to be about medical retirement, specifically for Canadian federal government employees. I'm going to be providing you some tips and hopefully a clear breakdown of things that you need to know to determine whether or not you qualify for medical retirement or whether or not medical retirement is something that you should consider. Welcome back to Retirement Sense, where every penny counts, especially when you're trying to navigate retirement on a fixed income. So let's kick things off by starting out, what does medical retirement mean? In the official definition, it's for federal employees that usually refers to retirement due to disability under the Government of Canada Pension Act, specifically the Public Service Pension Plan. Now, I've created a script, and I know that there's a lot of wonderful, fabulous YouTubers out there that follow a teleprompter and all the things. But with my limitations of editing and being able to sit for long periods of time, I've done it the old-fashioned way, though I have printed them out, so it's not an actual handwriting. So hopefully you can bear with me and that I can stay on task and we can cover all the tips that you will find helpful on your medical retirement journey. So let's see who qualifies. You may qualify if you're medically unable to perform your job and that your medical condition is most likely going to be long-term or permanent. Medical retirement isn't just a label. It means that you're considered medically unable to continue working in your position long-term. It's really important that the definition disabled doesn't mean you're totally incapacitated. It means you cannot perform your current job and that your employer cannot reasonably give you alternatives, whether it be having an ergonomic assessment and having a standing desk, whether it be modifying your job duties or the hours that you are to be working. Your employer does have to exhaust all of the accommodations while you're working in order to be considered for medical retirement. This is a really long process, so I just want you to be prepared if this is something that you consider, that you be prepared and don't get too much anxiety or panic over the fact that it is a long, drawn-out process in order to have the journey of medical retirement. It's really important that you have your doctors, medical, and all of your healthcare team. If you have more than just your GP, if you have specialists and other chiropractor, occupational therapy, other specialists involved in providing your healthcare regime and protocol of what's going to be happening to you move forward, then it's important that you have detailed documentation from all of your healthcare providers. You need to be in touch and communicate with your employer and your HR so that everybody is on the same page and you're aware of what your rights are and what you need to do next. Normally, you cannot apply for short-term disability until you have been out of your position for at least 3 months. If you do not have any sick leave left, then you can apply for employment insurance, disability, or sick benefits. And once 3 months of being on employment insurance, disability benefits, you can then proceed to apply for short-term disability through Sun Life. Now, Sun Life is who looks after short-term and long-term disability benefits for Canadian federal government employees. Normally, your disability benefits are 70% of your current salary, and that income is taxable, and it is subject to cost of living increase yearly of anywhere between 2 and 3%. Your pension options will vary depending on your years of service. In order to qualify for medical retirement, you have to have at least a minimum of 2 years of pensionable service. You can definitely have a lot more than that, but the minimum requirement is that you have 2 years of pensionable service. If you do not have 2 years of pensionable service, you will just be receiving back your contributions and you will not be eligible for medical retirement pension. It's really important to contact the Government of Canada Pension Centre. Try and get yourself a pension advisor, and they will normally send you a package out of your time served, if you have any time that you can possibly buy back, and what that cost would be, what your best 5 years of pensionable service amounts are, because by taking your best 5 years, it will determine that your pension will be the most and the best that it can be. Normally, when people leave and take 70% of their salary, that they're going to be having a lower monthly income, but not always. As federal government employees, we pay into our pension plan, and that is a significant monthly deduction that's taken off your pay, normally bi-weekly, as well as employment insurance benefits and income tax and CPP and all of the deductions that you pay monthly. Now, when you're receiving 70% of your yearly salary, obviously all of those deductions don't come off of your pay, and your monthly income may end up being really close to the amount you were receiving when working full-time. So it's really important. Contact the pension center, get your numbers, make sure you have a clear financial picture to determine whether or not you would prefer to go the route of medical retirement rather than early retirement. And also understand that there's no age restriction for going on medical retirement. It doesn't matter if you're 35 or 55. There is no age restrictions when it comes to qualifying for medical retirement if you've already qualified for short-term and long-term disability through your Sun Life health benefits. Inflation protection varies. Now, that is cost of living increase. I think the inflation protection is what's known as a cost of increase, and that is something that is calculated between 2 and 3% increase yearly, and it normally starts on like February 1st. The calculation, you usually get a letter saying that the calculation has been made and what your new monthly income rate is going to be. And then you will start getting your new monthly rate on February 1st of the following year. Your disability benefits are still taxed, but in another video, I'm going to talk to you about applying for CRA disability and CRA disability benefits, and how that qualification can offset the amount of taxes that you're required to pay each year, and possibly having some of those refunded come tax season. So yes, please know that the process, as I've explained, takes an incredible amount of time. Up to 2 years before you start to apply to Health Canada for your medical retirement. And Health Canada takes 6 weeks to make a decision once they have received your application for medical retirement. Now, they don't reinvent the wheel, because you've gone through short-term disability and long-term disability with your Sun Life team, and they've deemed you to be disabled and no longer able to return to work. Normally, Health Canada will respect that decision and follow suit. Not in every case, but normally Health Canada will not go against the determination of your healthcare team and your Sun Life disability benefit teams in their approval of your long-term disability benefits. Now, this obviously varies by case to case. So, common mistakes to avoid: applying without strong medical evidence, not understanding how pension and long-term disability works, leaving your job too early before approval, and not applying for CPP disability when required. Now, normally when you're on long-term disability benefits, you will be required or asked by your Sun Life team to apply for CPP disability. Now, your income of 70% of your income will never change. It will always be 70% with the cost of living increase calculated yearly. It just may change where the sources of your income come from. Over time, it may go from your Sun Life long-term disability benefits to your pension that's calculated and to CPP disability. So it will always be the amount that is 70% of your income. It's just going to probably be later on from multiple sources. So that is also really important to know. Make sure you don't leave your job early before getting the approval that you need. Make sure that you have strong medical documentation, and as a patient, you have rights to have access to all of your medical files and your medical documentation and medical notes. So make sure you keep good notes and document everything. And then, of course, adjust if you are going to possibly have an income reduction. So if you're currently dealing with some health issues that are preventing you from going to work and fulfilling your role as an employee of the federal government of Canada, you're not alone, and it can feel incredibly overwhelming. But the more that you are informed, the better and easier it will be to make your decision that is right for you. I would also really love to hear where you maybe be in your health, chronic illness, medical retirement journey. Please, 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 if you are feeling pressure from your employer due to illness or health reasons to retire or resign from your position early, do not do that. Seek advice from the pension center, from your union rep, from coworkers, every resource that you can exhaust. Get all your information and do not succumb to the pressure of your employer trying to force you to retire early or resign from your position and forfeiting any eligibility for pension or medical retirement pension. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. Like I said, if you enjoyed this content and found it helpful, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.